Because I know as roller skaters, we're always looking to progress. We're always looking to get better at skating. We always want to learn that new trick, that new skill, how to do this, how to do that. And that's kind of why I created this channel, was to share resources so you can learn how to do that. If I can do it, you can do it too. But along with that, something that we're going to experience is regression. I think everyone experiences this at some point. What's regression? Basically the opposite of progress. It is when instead of going forward in improving, you kind of feel like you're losing some of your progress and you're actually going backwards. And I've had a couple skaters recently just say, like, I feel like I'm going backwards in my skating, or, I feel like I'm regressing. And I just wanted to make a video to speak to that. So that's what today's video is about. It's about regression in roller skating. So today we're going to address what is regression, how do you get out of it, essentially, how do you overcome feeling like you're regressing or moving backwards in your skate progress, and then what causes it, because there can actually be a couple different things, and some things you can do something about it and some things you can't. So we're going to get right into that, and let's start first with what is regression. So regression is the opposite of progress or progression. Essentially, progression or progress is when you are moving forward in something, when you are, getting to the next level, when you're getting better, when you are improving. You are progressing, you are moving forward. And regression is when you go backwards, or what feels like you're going backwards, and you feel like you've lost some progress, or you may have just learned something and now you can't do it again. So this is just more a feeling than an actual thing, and it's something very common, and it's totally normal. It's totally okay. In fact, I'd go as far to say, in my own opinion, that all of us experience a feeling of regression at some point, or we experience actual regression. And guess what? It's totally okay, because the main point is progress is not linear. And I know you've probably heard this before, but genuinely, we have to get into our heads that, when we start skating, we think that we're just going to shoot straight up and just be amazing at it. And if we just keep at it, we'll just get better and better. And part of that is true. Like, if you practice, you're going to progress. If you keep working on something, you're going to get better at it. But there's so many things that we put on ourselves, like expectations and mindsets and mentalities, that can actually get in the way of our progress, and that can actually send us backwards. I myself have experienced this, and I can speak to it. So let's get right into what causes regression and how can you overcome it. I think that everyone can come back to a place of progress, or get back to, get back things that they feel like they lost. But just know that the main key when dealing with regression is not having too high of expectations on yourself, or putting this pressure on yourself to be, here instead of there, or, I was here and now I'm here. Because all you're gonna do is create like this guilty feeling, and you're gonna feel bad about yourself, and roller skating shouldn't make you feel bad about yourself. If you're roller skating, you should feel empowered. You should feel like this surge of energy and happiness that this is something you can do. And it doesn't matter if you're, this good or this good. Like, the fact that you are doing this, you should be proud of yourself, and that's commendable, and you have the courage to try. So always remember that. Don't ever put like these high expectations on yourself. Don't compare yourself to other skaters. I know, like, you hear this and it can be hard to do, but really don't do that. Like, you have your own unique skate journey, you have your own timeline, and you're gonna progress at the rate that is right for you. And you don't need to be looking at how someone else is, immediately doing all this crazy cool stuff that you wanna do. I know that it can be hard to, see someone else be able to do something that you want to and want to be there, or even if they can do it in a shorter amount of time. I mean, I can see skaters on Instagram who've skated less time than me that can do these tricks. And I'm not gonna compare myself to them, because I have my own journey, and I'm gonna progress at the rate I need to, and I'm gonna have fun while I'm doing it. And no one is expecting me to be something, no one has these expectations of me. I only have these expectations of myself. We're gonna reframe some things mentally. We're gonna see some actionable steps that we can take, and we're gonna identify the things that are in our way. Some of the things we can do something about, and some of the things you're not gonna be able to do something about. But I will guarantee that by the end of this video, you're gonna be able to have a little more clearer head about why you're regressing and how you can get past that. At least the feeling of regressing and being okay with where you are in your skate journey. The first category is a setback that is out of your control. We all experience these as roller skaters. It's gonna happen without fail. No matter if you wear your safety gear and you try not to have an injury, no matter what you do, there's gonna be things you experience that are outside of your control as a roller skater, and you may feel like it is a block to your progression, and that you maybe even feel like now you're regressing because of that, or you're afraid you're going to regress. And when that happens, we just have to recognize and accept that that thing is out of our control. So some of those things could be mental health. If you're struggling with mental health, that can affect your roller skating progress. I mean, I know because I have struggled with social anxiety. I didn't have a name for it. I didn't know what I was dealing with. I did end up taking a break for myself to take care of myself because I knew that I wasn't healthy. Please take care of your mental health. You matter. Your mental health matters. So another setback that is out of your control, I say out of your control, it's maybe a temporary thing. So remember that. Like, it's just for a time that this thing is out of your control, and then maybe it will get better, or maybe it will change. You know, it doesn't mean that that situation is permanent. Some things are outside of your control, and we just have to recognize and realize, like, hey, this is out of my control. I have to just let it go and accept that, and to focus on making the best of this. The weather is something outside of your control. You cannot control it. You can make your situation more promising by having like a place to skate that's covered, or doing indoors, going at a different time of day when it's not so hot. There's ways to make the best of your situation, but you can't control the fact that that is the situation. So just recognize that, realize it, make the best of it. Okay, another setback that could be out of your control is your circumstance. So it could be you work a full-time job and you don't have as much time to commit to roller skating and working on progression. You could have other things taking away your time and energy that you literally just don't have control over right now. You have to work the hours you have to work the job you work, you have to work more than one job, or maybe you're stuck at home, or maybe your skate park is closed. Like, maybe there's a pandemic, and for the health and safety of your community, you're not allowed to go out and do the things you normally would. These things happen. There's circumstances and situations outside of your control that you can't do anything about it. You can't change it, and you're just gonna have to wait it out, or you're gonna have to push through, or you're just gonna have to make the best of it. And so what I would say to that is just keep yourself encouraged, keep being proud of what you are able to do. Just know that you still have things you can do, so don't let it get you down. And lastly is injury. Your body, maybe you're sick. If you're sick, dealing with an injury or something else, all of those things are outside of your control. If you're experiencing any of this, the most important thing is just to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Like, I'm asking you, please take care of yourself. Then you need to recognize that this is something out of your control, release and let go of your need to control it, and just like give up the fact that, I can't control this. I'm just gonna let that go, and then focus on the things that you can do and be empowered by that. Say, okay, how can I make the best of this situation? How can I work around this? Remind yourself too that a lot of things that are outside of your control are temporary, or there's ways to just say, you know what? I recognize this is out of my control. I don't need to control it, and I'm just gonna focus on what I can do, because I'm gonna be empowered. I'm not gonna be a victim of my circumstance or whatever this is that I'm dealing with right now. More power to you. Realize that most things that are outside of our control are temporary. Not everything is permanent. It can change, things can get better, things can heal, and you can look to support. Like, get support. Like, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to deal with it alone, especially if you're dealing with something like an injury or mental health. Reach out, get support, and there are free resources, and there's free friendships too. And that's what community is for. So now we're going to talk about category 2, which is things that are in your control. And what I mean by in your control is there's a problem and there's something you can do about it. So some things that are in your control that may be causing or the source of what you feel is your regression, you're not being challenged. This is something that has caused me to regress before. I didn't have anything to challenge me, so I just kind of like stagnated, or I got lazy with it, or just didn't feel as motivated. The answer to that is to find something that challenges you. That goes along with experiencing a lack of motivation. So if you're experiencing a lack of motivation, you don't feel like doing it, well, maybe do something else that inspires you. The answer doesn't have to be roller skating or more roller skating. Like, maybe you need to switch it up and rejuvenate yourself with something that actually does energize you right now and that actually does inspire you. If you're experiencing a lack of motivation, it doesn't mean you have to be motivated in the thing you want to do, unless there's like actually, a consequence of not doing it. Roller skating is just for fun. So if you're not feeling inspired, tired, you're feeling a lack of motivation, like find something that is energizing and go do that. And maybe that will refuel your energy and give you that. Or remember your reason why. Remember why you even roller skate. Like, is it to have fun? Is it to get on a derby team? You know, find your sense of purpose again. Find your why. Find like, why am I doing this? What's motivating to me? Why do I love this so much? And like, what makes this fun? And focus on those things. You know, what is rewarding about this? Find that reason for why you love roller skating. Whatever your motivation is and your inspiration, like take hold of that and remember that. And then focus on what's the first step in what you need to do. Don't focus on like the big thing you want to get to. Focus on the first step of unlocking that and do that and then reach that goal and then focus, okay, what's the next step? Because it's a small, realistic, measurable step. Another problem that you may experience that causes regression, and you might not think it does, but it's actually one of the things that I struggled with the most as a roller skater when I first started out. It both motivated me and made me better while simultaneously making me regress. And I would say that is putting pressure on yourself, expecting perfection, having too high of expectations, just thinking that you need to be so good at this right away and giving yourself like this pressure of like, you know, I'm going to do everything I can to be the best I can. That's a good thing, and that can make you really progress and get better. And you probably are willing to do anything to do it. But just realize, like, cut yourself some slack, like allow yourself to have your own journey and your own timetable and just embrace things as they come and have fun with it, because that's really what it's got to be about at the end of the day. Like, you need to relax a little, you need to chill a little, you need to be kinder to yourself, and you need to stop putting your expectations up here. Have one goal with no expectations and just see how it goes and do your best and try towards that. Like, that's the most healthy way I could say to overcome. So recognize what these things are, what these challenges are, but also realize that regression is just a feeling and progress is not linear. It's up and down. Like, you're gonna have times where you get things and then you lose them and you gotta work to get them back again. Or maybe, you know, there'll always be something difficult for you until you unlock, you know, what works for you. There's always a temptation to compare yourself to someone else. Do not do this. You have your own journey. You have your own set of skills and understanding and experience and athleticism, and you have things in you. Focus on what you can do and then build on that. Don't look at what someone else can do that you can't do and get discouraged, because that's their journey and they have a whole different set of experiences and skills, and you don't know anything about that. Don't compare yourself. Look at your own journey and have fun with it and enjoy that, and share it with people and be proud of it because it's your own. Another thing you may be dealing with is a lack of patience with yourself. You're not being patient with yourself. You're, rushing yourself, you're pushing yourself, you're expecting so much of yourself. Take the pressure off. Be patient with yourself. No matter how many tries you need to do, no matter how many times you need to practice something, just keep at it. Have that perseverance and be patient with yourself, because you will get there. Fear is like the biggest thing that can get in the way of progression as a roller skater. It will just be the wall that you can't get past. Roller skating has challenged me so much, and it's actually like shown me how many fears I have, but it's also shown me how capable and empowered I am to overcome those fears. Like, I used to be afraid of dropping in, but little by little I built my confidence until I was ready, and I did it in my own time. And so I would just encourage you to do the same. Like, do things in your own time, build your confidence, believe in yourself, be patient with yourself. Like, these are things that can hold you back, and you kind of have to identify what those problems are, if they're in your control or if they're out of your control, and see what you can do about it, and then take action. That's the last step, really. So after you identify these things and you realize, which of these categories in, is it something that I can control or can't control? And then say, okay, what can I do about it? Obviously, this video can't be completely comprehensive of all the things that could be in those two categories. Those were just some examples of some of the main ones that I personally think are, the big things that get in the way of progression and that can cause regression, or this feeling of regression, like you're going backwards. But just know, like, stick with it. Be patient with yourself. Believe in yourself. Kick fear in the face. Like, punch doubt out of this room. Set goals that are realistic and attainable and go after them. If you need to take a break and take care of yourself, or you have a situation or you have an injury, like, just know that's okay. You don't need to be discouraged about that, because that's normal. Every skater has to face something like that at some point, and you'll get back to it. Like, it will still be there. If you really do feel like your skills are going backwards, my main tip for you and my main piece of advice, I guess, is to go back to the beginning. Start back at the fundamentals. And if you don't know what the fundamentals are, I can do a whole video about like basic roller skating skills and where to start. Let me know below. Just go back to the beginning, start with the fundamentals, the basic skills, and just focus on those. Focus on building those, because those are the foundation for building all the other stuff. And once you have those, that's the base that you're gonna build off of. And another little tip I'll give you is if you feel like you're regressing or you're losing something or you're not able to get something and you're not progressing, do something that you know you can do and do it to the best of your ability and feel good about that and give yourself kind of that confidence boost. Oh yeah, I can do that. Do some things that you're confident in and that you're comfortable with and that you know you can do. You know, I feel like roller skating grows us as people, and so just know like you're growing as a person too. You're getting out of your comfort zone. There's times where you're going to be really progressing and times where you feel like you've regressed or you're not progressing, and that's just totally normal. And don't get discouraged with yourself. The more pressure you put on yourself, and I speak from experience, the more that's actually going to take away from like your power and your energy and your self-confidence and your belief in yourself to, you know, be free to do those things. I feel like when you take off the pressure and you take off all the expectations on yourself, you're allowed to be free and confident and just be like, you know what, it doesn't matter if I mess up. It doesn't matter if I make a mistake, because I'm learning, and that's okay. And I hope that you always keep learning, and I hope that you always allow yourself, you know, that freedom to learn and progress at your own rate, and don't put any expectations on yourself, because that's not what it's about. It's about having fun. Also, I do want to put a disclaimer. All of these are just my personal thoughts and opinions. I'm not an expert at roller skating or athletics. I just have my experiences, and I know as a roller skater, having skated for 3 years, having done roller derby and skateboard skating and street skating and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, I've had my experiences, and I want you to be able to take from those experiences and the struggles I've had and overcome as a skater and the lessons that I've learned and pass those on to you. That's why I have my channel. I'm very passionate about investing in other roller skaters, especially skaters who are first starting off and figuring this out, because I remember what it was like when I was there. And I remember being someone who was starting off so eager to improve and to get better at skating, and you know, I relate to that. But just know that if you feel like you're not progressing and maybe you're regressing, or oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just like going backwards, I'm not even moving forward, you know, I feel like I take 1 step forward and 10 step backs. That's progress. I just want to encourage you. I hope that this video really did that. And if it did, please give me a like and let me know, because your feedback matters to me. I want to know that these videos are helpful for you. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is a resource, and I will continue to put out helpful videos for you as roller skaters. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys next time.